pero mañana yo creo que me voy a dar el Castlevania 3. Yo creo que mañana va a ser jueguito retro, güey. Subtítulos en español. Dicen que está muy bueno este juego, güey. Chingo de gente me ha recomendado este juego de aquí. ¿Jugaste al de Stanley Parable alguna vez? No. Ahí está chido. Introduce la hora actual, güey. A la madre. Esta cosa va a hablar conmigo, ¿no? Y si luego unos patos de... Uy, 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 uy. Pues, ¿qué tal si hoy, si después de este juego nos echamos unos patitos? El buen juego está cagado. Let's see. Me van a doxear, ¿eh? Voy a esperar a que sean las 9 chupas. Ahí está. Para ser más exacto. Pero señor. Puedes acceder a la configuración de accesibilidad desde el menú. Ok. Como que nos echamos unos palitos. Campo de visión 90. Este sí lo quiero a full, güey. Vámonos. Bueno, entonces 7 son las 12 y debería estar durmiendo. Ay, pedo, no duermas. No, es la única semana que voy a streamear, que voy a hacer stream durante semana, güey.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Momento. Aquí. Ahí está, para que lo alcancen a ver, chat. ¿Vale?
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Ok, este tipo de juegos te va a salir una narración. Tú puedes hacer caso a la narración, tú puedes no hacer caso a la narración, tú puedes hacer otras cosas. El chiste es que hay diferentes finales. El primer final que quiero sacar es haciéndole caso a la narración al 100%, güey. ¿Ok? No mames, pues yo quiero trabajar de eso.
This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Es que y el por
And
lo
then
hicieron.
one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ok, hacemos caso. Ajá.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No, eso no es la meeting room. La sala de juntas. ¿Sí está? No. Se traba poquito de repente, ¿verdad, chat? No, esta tampoco es. Aquí. No.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok. Aquí está.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Es general, güey. Ok, ya la cagué, pero al menos es un final, ¿no? Ahorita sacamos el otro.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ay, cabrón.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Miren, es que aquí hay otro camino, por ejemplo. No mames, yo encontré como 10 rutas, vete a la verga.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Soy Stanley, dice.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
No recuerdo mi número de empleado. Ando viendo los Squidcraft.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Pues no debería de prenderlo, ¿no? Verga, la cantidad de rutas que encontré, güey. Son demasiadas. Esta mamá me costó un putazo y no entendí lo que hice.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Ya, Whisper.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
Final
Whatever
bueno.
life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Was happy. Ok, el primero es sencillo. Este es sencillo. El pedo son los demás, güey. Sexo. ¿Qué onda, chiquito? ¿Cómo estás? Ahora, me voy a esperar hasta que hable este güey. Ah, no, sí dice al principio que se levantó de la silla y viene para acá.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Todo bien, Checo, calando esta madre por primera vez in my life.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
¿No jalas un Duke Game, Checo? ¿Cómo ven, amigos? ¿Un Duke Game? ¿Les interesaría, güey?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No funcionó la optimización del juego, Checo. Está injugable esa madre. Horrible, güey. Me voy a esperar hasta que lo optimicen bien.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody.
Sí, güey. Sí,
He
Checo,
began
mal
wildly
pedo.
tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number.
No lo vamos a escribir. Fue el error
2845.
anterior.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
No voy a hacer caso. Me voy a hacer bien pendejo.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Narración. Sí, güey, checa las reviews del...
2845.
Checa las reviews de Steam, Checo, del juego. El vato bien desesperado. No tengo forma de saberlo. No lo sé.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Está bueno, pues. Pinche cuerno te dijimos, güey. A ver, dime, Checo, cuéntamelo. ¿Qué te pasó, Pepe? Ahora chequen, chat. Por acá está
Stanley walked
eso.
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Pero me voy a
Facility.
escapar a la verga.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Me regreso, pues.
course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he... Nope, still on board with death? The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Gracias por la sub, Igna. Muchas
At this
gracias,
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Digo, mira, déjate cuento. Chinga tu madre, chico. Sí, era el juego, Capins. Totalmente. What?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
What?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
What the
When
fuck?
every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
A la bestia, Easter eggs. No. No mames, chico. ¿Y tú dónde estabas? Ahí sentado viendo ese pedo, ¿o qué, güey? En tu sueño, digo, obviamente. Computadoras de oficina. Créditos, ahí están los créditos. Sonidos de botones. Pues ya lo acabé, truco, mira los créditos. A ver, aguanta. Verga, pero mi sueño estaba bien perro intrigado. Ahí veía al Levi rascándose los huevos y todo el pedo. El checo. Está sentado viendo la novela, hijo de su madre. Llevo sin pedos como 15 minutos buscando el cartel de Las Vegas en el Horizon, pero... Ah, es que no sé de qué me hablas, güey. A la verga. A ver, se los voy a leer, están interesantes estos. Dice, correos electrónicos al narrador. Después de presentar el segundo avance, le pedimos a la gente que le enviara preguntas por correo electrónico al narrador. Planeábamos usarlas en otros materiales publicitarios, pero nunca les encontramos el lugar adecuado. Aquí puedes encontrar una selección de esos correos electrónicos. Ah, puedo ver más de uno. Ah, sí. Tengo preguntas calientes, dice. En la escala de Max, ay, de Salvador Dalí, ¿qué tan surreal es el juego? Felicidades, felicidades. Y bueno, chingo de cosas. Ahí vengo, dale, Merch. Provechito. Que se es Jico. Pues no juzgo al Checo por sus sueños. Yo una vez soñé en un vagabundo vivía dentro de un lavabo, a la verga. La bestia, güey, la cantidad de cosas. Pero bueno, vámonos.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
No estaba verguísima, güey. La hija se le hacía de pedo al Juan porque no le gustaba su asistente y que sentía que la Ari los quería separar como familia. Pasó de verga, ¿verdad? De Dios. Increíble, güey. Yo quiero sueños así. Ahora no me voy a salir de mi oficina, me voy a quedar aquí. No, no se mueve ni pito, güey.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No voy a ir a la sala de juntas.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference. Nor, oh please, are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true
su perra
effort for
madre.
a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes,
A la verga.
almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417?
Great. Now, go click a few times on door 437. Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
Me va a trolear, ¿verdad? Este güey me va a trolear, ¿verdad?
Now, back to door number 437.
Ah, que su puta madre. Me va a trolear, ¿verdad?
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk. Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
Ese güey bien extasiado, güey.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing.
Pues sí me dio logro.
Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks.
Sí, sí me dio
Really
logro.
now, what were you thinking?
Ok. Sí, el vato extasiado, ¿eh?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ah, no.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Adiós.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ocupo una tarjeta.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm asking, this is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
A la verga.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Híjole, quiero hacer otra vez todo esto mismo y no tomar el teléfono. Oh.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
No, yo no quiero.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Puta madre, güey. Voy a irme a la verga.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
¿Cómo?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
No voy a presionar L. Soy un niño rebelde. Sí. Puta madre.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Ese vato bien emputado por la puerta.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed.
No mames, voy a
The
aparecer
longer he
otra vez en mi
spends here, the
oficina.
more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
¿Vale? Pues no, ¿verdad?
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried...
What? ¿Neta, Checo? No mames, pues, es que no mames, güey. Ok, ese fue otro...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Quiero ir a donde mismo, pero no contestar la llamada, ¿saben?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took
Me
the
hace gracia
first
pensar que yo
open
tengo un
door and
narrador para
left.
mi vida. Yo sí lo he llegado a pensar, ¿no? De repente, no mames, me están narrando.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ok, voy a hacer otros 3
Look,
intentos,
Stanley,
chat.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing
No,
but
sí, sí te invito,
you
güey.
all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Ahorita te mando varias, güey.
I'm not asking
Te voy a
for
mandar un
me,
pinche paquetaxo,
I'm asking for her.
No, si no me invitas, ¿no? Ya, cabrón.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem
Pidan las que
yourself.
quieran, si no la
To
tengo,
put your
la
work
busco.
aside,
Dense,
to let
dense.
her back into your life. She's
Dijo,
been
paquete.
waiting.
¿Quieres jugar a track?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up
Dale.
the phone.
No lo voy a tomar, no lo voy a tomar. ¿Qué onda, Ramsiris? ¿Cómo estás? De la verguísima, Ramsiris. Fíjate que a mí me corría bien el juego, ¿sí? Yo no tenía pedos. El pedo es que cargar zona entre zona se tarda un chingo en cargarme, güey. Entonces era pausarse cada puto rato el juego y pues te tenía el ritmo que vas llevando, ¿no? ¿No puedes conectar?
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person.
Es
But if
cierto,
used
güey.
incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Cola y bolas, dice.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll
Sí,
ever
Dark.
make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Ajá.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ni verga.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
No mames, tengo que volver a huevo. No, a ver.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
No, espérate, no.
I have to. you, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Chat, seguimos sin hacer
Stanley
caso.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
Sin
door
hacer
on
caso,
his
chat.
left.
Huevos.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No. What the heck?
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting
Creo
the
que ya lo
story
quebré.
first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Estaba a mi izquierda, ¿no? Viendo de aquí por allá, estaba a mi izquierda.
No! Why did
No.
you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
A ver, yo voy a la izquierda, al parecer no hay nada más que hacer.
Choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might come into a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ya todo lo demás es normal, ¿no? ¿Es 825 qué?
Stepping inside his manager's office,
What?
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this.
Se
Until
cambió.
he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
¿Cómo era? ¿El código? Long Shark.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. ¿Te imaginas que agarre el micrófono? Night
I'm
Shark
sorry, is there a
115.
problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a
Vato, ¿se está agarrando mi micrófono?
crucial step.
Night Shark 115.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously.
La madre, ya duró un chorro con esta ron, ¿no?
Then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What?
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door.
O sea, qué buenos finales, Truco?
Can you hear me? Is everything all right?
Tienes que admitirlo.
Important.
¿Estás
The story needs you.
satisfecho
You
con
need to make a
esto?
decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose.
Ánimo, Santi. Banda, canjeen rolas para el Clone Hero para ahorita pasárselas a Checo y a Drag.
You never know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? You listening to this? Stanley, are you there?
Los veo en Discord, Checo, Drag.
Okay. It's okay, I can wait.
Truco, ¿quieres jugar?
You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
¿No, mi Truco? Ya, el Truco ya no nos quiere. Ya no nos quiere. Ok, listo.